Hello and welcome to Math on the Go. In this video, we are going to take the general formula for a quadratic equation, which is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, and we're going to derive the quadratic formula. Now, for those that don't know, the quadratic formula looks like this. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So that formula is derived from this using completing the square. So let's get right to it and let's figure it out. Let's work this out. So the first step, we're going to group our x terms. So we're going to have ax squared plus bx in parentheses plus c equals 0, like that. And then we're going to factor out our leading coefficient, a, parentheses, x squared plus, well, there was no a term here, but to make it work algebraically, we're going to put b over a, like so, plus c equals 0. So now if you were to multiply this out, you would get ax squared plus bx, because the a would cancel when you multiply it over here. So now we're going to complete the square, which means we're going to take our BA, and we're going to multiply that by 1/2, like that, which gets us B over 2A, and then we're going to square that, which gets us B squared over 4A squared. So now what we're left with is a x squared plus b over a x plus our b squared over 4a squared, b squared over 4a squared, and our plus c equals, well, it doesn't equal 0 now. So if we were to distribute the a across, we'd end up with our ax squared plus our bx plus here, we would end up with, right here, we'd end up with b squared over 4a. So we're going to take that b squared over 4a and put it over on this side. So that's what we've got so far. Now we're going to divide both sides by a to get rid of that leading coefficient. So what we end up with, x squared plus b ax plus b squared 4a squared plus c over a equals, well, we'd end up with b squared over 4a squared. b squared over 4a squared. All right. Now we're going to factor this left side, and I'm going to at the same time subtract the c over a to the other side. So what we end up with here, just like before, when we factor this, we end up with x plus b over 2a, b over 2a equals b squared over 4a squared minus our c over a. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to work on getting a common denominator on our right-hand side, which would be 4a squared. So in order to get 4a squared, we need to multiply our c over a by 4 times a. So what we end up with, whoops, there's a square, forgot that. We got x plus b over 2a squared equals b squared over 4a squared minus 4ac over 4a squared. Okay? I'm just going to Erase everything up above so that we can continue working on this. Okay, now we're going to take all this and we're going to put it up here. So I'm just going to rewrite it. We got x plus b over 2a squared equals, I'm just going to write all this over the common denominator. So we got b squared minus 4ac all over 4a squared. Okay, so we're almost there. Next thing we want to do is take the square root of both sides. So what we're left with on the left side is x plus b over 2a equals, don't forget your plus minus on the right hand side. So we got plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac, and the square root of 4a squared becomes 2a. All right, now that we've got that down, we move our b over 2a to the right hand side by subtracting from both sides, giving us x equals negative b over 2a plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, well, we have common denominator on the right hand side, so now we can just write it as x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all of that over 2a, and that is the quadratic formula that we just derived from the definition of a quadratic equation. So I hope this helps you figure out how and why the quadratic formula works for solving quadratic equations. And also you learned how to derive it just with what you're given, knowing a quadratic equation. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe if you want to be notified on any videos that come out in the future. If you have any ideas or suggestions for videos in the future, please leave comments in the comment section below. And thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.